Hello, you beautiful person. If you don't know me, my name is Aya, and if you do know me, I'm glad you're back. First of all, I'd like to apologize for not posting a video last week when I told you guys that I was very excited to post it, but then I watched the footage and I felt a little self-conscious, so I decided against it. But we're here today, and I'm very sick. I can't breathe properly, I have a dry throat, but it's okay because I made an infusion. It's chamomile with honey. Wow. It's my favorite. And because I'm very sick, it's a Saturday night. I'm not going anywhere. Let's act like this is a cute little slumber party, right? We've got a messy bed, some pajamas, we've got our infusion. And what do friends do at a summer party? Exactly. We're gonna be spilling some tea today. No pun intended. But we're gonna be spilling the tea about guys and girls that we do not like. I'm pretty sure that you can tell by the title of this video, by guys and girls, I mean books. Because as your friend, I feel like it's my responsibility to tell you which ones will ruin your life. Now, please take this with a grain of salt. I feel like I don't have to say this, but you never know with the internet, so just know that this is my opinion. And just because I didn't like these books, that doesn't mean that you're not gonna like them. Also, I'm not shaming anybody who enjoyed them. If there's people who like them, I'm pretty sure it's because they have their own reasons. That's not what we do here, okay? I'm just here to give you my opinion and my reviews. For that, I have a very special list that I have on my Goodreads, and it's called Gouging My Eyes Out with a Spoon. Dramatic? A little bit, but not really. You'll see that a lot of these are mostly dark romance. The thing is, I have like a love-hate relationship with dark romance. It's like a 50-50. I either enjoy it a lot or I loathe it with my entire soul and heart. I do tend to hate on it a lot, but I also read a lot of it. And you might ask, why would you read something that you know you're not gonna like? I don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever know, if I'm being honest, but whatever. I guess this is like my red flag. Anyways, a lot of these are very popular book talk books, so I'm terrified. Please don't come for me. You know what? Let's start with an author that I've enjoyed before, right? Like, I've read some of their books and I've enjoyed them, which is the reason why I gave this book a chance. And I immediately regretted it. And I'm talking about Penelope Douglas, and the book I'm about to talk about is Credence. And now I've read some of Penelope Douglas's work before. It's either a hit or a miss. And by hit, I mean that I've only ever enjoyed the Devil's Night series. I've also enjoyed Punk 57. I did try reading Birthday Girl. That one wasn't as horrible as I thought it was gonna be, at least not enough for me to put it in the Gouging My Eyes Out with a Spoon list. But Credence, don't want to talk about it. I understand the need to read something a little taboo. I understand why that may be attractive to some people, but Credence, it was just... I don't know what that was, if I'm being honest. Because it wasn't even like the age gap, right? A lot of people talk about the oldest guy being her uncle, and a lot of people are like, no, it's not, they're not even like blood related. He wasn't even present for the longest time in her life. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the age gap wasn't what irked me, because there's three guys. In case you don't know, in Credence, there's three guys. There's the older guy, which is kind of creepy, right? Her uncle, step-uncle, I guess. No, it's not a step-uncle. I don't know. This is so messy. It's insane. Something about Penelope Douglas is that she'll always look for like a weird connection to make sure that her books are taboo enough for anybody who's looking for a taboo story, but they're not taboo enough to be extremely controversial to the point where you would take that guy to prison. Does that make sense? Actually, that is not true at all. I mean, literally, the Devil's Night series is pretty taboo and they all go to jail. So, don't know what I'm talking about. This is what happens when I'm sick. There's this second guy. The second guy that I was like, you know what, out of three guys that are just not good, this second guy, this is the one you should pick. I was like, if I had to pick between three guys, one of them is my uncle, two of them are my cousins, one of them is just some weird dude that attacked me just one night randomly out of nowhere and groped me. And then there's my uncle. There's a bit, we're not blood related, but there's like this weird big age gap. And there's this second step cousin, I guess, or whatever, but he's like the nice guy. He's like the, I can't believe I'm saying this, the most emotionally intelligent or emotionally stable, I guess, between all of them. You would think that's the right option, right? You would go for that guy. Well, no. Guess who she ends up choosing? She doesn't choose the guy with experience, you know, old enough to take care of her or whatever. She doesn't choose a guy that is like age appropriate but nice to her. She goes for the mute, weird emo guy that attacked her and sexually harassed her the first time they met. Like, that was their first interaction. Did I even rate this? I don't think I even gave it 1 star. See, it's not even, look at this. I didn't even give it 1 star. If you're gonna read anything by Penelope Douglas, don't let it be Credence. Birthday Girl wasn't good, in my opinion, but at least it was better than whatever the hell this was. And then if I could recommend something by Penelope Douglas, it would be the Devil's Night series and Punk 57, but they're all dark romance. Please do not read them if you're under 18, and for the love of everything, look up the trigger warnings and just know that I do not romanticize or condone any of the behavior in those books. It was just fun to read. Second book we're going to be talking about is The Ritual by Chantel. I'm just not going to pronounce her name out of respect. Although there was anything but respect in this book. Ooh, goodness. The Ritual! One of the books that was a very popular book in the dark romance community. At least on Book Talk. I don't know what I was expecting going into that book. I knew that there were a lot of, controversial topics, a lot of controversial actions and attitudes, and for some reason I still decided to read it in case, I don't know, like a miracle happened. I wanted to understand what the whole deal was about. And everybody kept saying that the spicy scenes were amazing, and listen, I'm just a girl, okay? I enjoy me some erotica.
There's nothing wrong with a woman enjoying a little erotica. It's just a healthy expression of female sexuality, which, by the way, is something that you will never understand.
So I was like, I'll give it a chance. The Ritual is not only the toxic boyfriend, the Ritual should be in jail. Look at me. Blocking him is not good enough. You should get a restraining order and just move to a different country, change your name so he doesn't find you. Because what the actual listen, I get the concept and I'm not about to kink shame anybody. This was not consensual. Like, nothing about this was consensual. There are so many things wrong with this book that I do not even know where to start. Honestly, I can't even remember half of it. That's how bad it was. Let's put these spicy scenes aside and like the non-consensual stuff and whatever. Not that we shouldn't pay attention to that, but even if we just focus on the plot and the writing, I don't know if it's because I'm too dumb for this, but it was so confusing, so hard to follow, and it wasn't even interesting. Feminism took several steps back with this one. It was insane. I feel like the point of dark romance is dark romance. That's a keyword there that a lot of people miss. A lot of people who defend these books, they say, oh, but it's dark romance. I'm like, yes, but there's nothing romantic about this. Like, there's no romance in this. It's just dark. I cannot think of a single scene where I was like, oh, this is cute. Like, oh, I can tell that they love each other. No, absolutely not. Stay away. Stay away from this one, I am begging you. Next one is the dark romance of dark romances. And I'm not saying this because this is the darkest I've read out there. I've definitely read darker than this, as insane as it sounds, but this is the book that people think about when they think of dark romance. Even people who are outside of the book talk community, you go to library stores and there's an entire table with just like this big sign that says book talk recommends this, and this book is always there. Unfortunately, that book is obviously Haunting Adeline by H.C. Carlton. I want to give this book the benefit of the doubt. I feel like if I read this book, listen, hear me out, hear me out. If I read this book with the idea in my head that this is only a thriller, right? This is only a thriller filled with violence and like messed up stuff, actually, it wouldn't be that bad. Listen, H.C. Carlton is not a bad writer. She doesn't even come close to being the best writer there is out there, in my opinion. But if Book Talk had sold this book to me as this horror thriller filled with like tense action story, I think I would have understood more the hype. That did not happen, obviously. People sold it to me as dark romance. And just like I said before, where is the romance in all of this? People are like, if you don't like violent scenes, then why are you reading this book? And I'm like, it's not about the violent scenes. I love Aaron Warner. I love a lot of murderous boyfriends, okay? But those boyfriends happen to understand consent. Sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, and a lot of people want to argue that He did not, R-word her, but he very clearly did, because she kept saying that she didn't want this. I might be wrong, don't take my word for this, but if I'm not wrong, H.D. Carlton also admitted that he R-worded her. So like, what is there to debate? There's no debate. I feel like you can like this book for what it is, and at the same time not romanticize that. I fear you have been lied to. Do not listen to people when they call this book dark romance, because there is nothing romantic about this. And I swear if I see one person in my comments saying that yes, he's romantic because he cuts off all the thorns from the flowers so she doesn't hurt herself, I will lose my mind. Alright, next book is actually not a dark romance. If you follow me from before, I feel like you've heard me say that I am not the biggest fan of this author, and the book I'm talking about is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. The Love Hypothesis was fine. Love Theoretically might be my favorite Ali Hazelwood book I've read so far. Love on the Brain, I am the biggest hater when it comes to that book. Every time somebody recommends that book, it ignites something in me. This rage, this anger that I didn't know that I had. When I tell you that I have not met a more insufferable female protagonist in my life, she has this like weird obsession with Marie Curie, right? And at first it was fun. I get it, right? She's very into, women in STEM. I'm all for women getting their recognition. Jesus Christ, woman. Also, somewhere in there, they mentioned that she was wearing galaxy leggings. Let me repeat that to you. Galaxy leggings. When did this book even come out? 2022. Galaxy leggings in 2022. Listen, I give it 1 star on Goodreads because I could not give it half a star. I would have given it more if Levi was a little more interesting. I feel like the only reason I managed to finish this book was because of Levi, but still, he wasn't interesting enough. He wasn't good enough to save this book. There was nothing. This is basically a copy and paste of The Love Hypothesis, but somehow these characters make it so much worse. If The Love Hypothesis was okay, it was a little, it was tolerable. It was fine. Not memorable, but it wasn't awful for me to want to, just like rip my eyes out so I don't read anything else ever again. Ooh, I'm very passionate about this book. I think I'm gonna stop there. Also, a little intermission here. If you're wondering why I chose the red instead of the cute little pink that I would normally go for, is because I feel like being a hater today. And I feel like red fits the tone of a hater. It's also giving a little bit of Revenge of the Sith, no? Liar! The next book is it even a book? Can we even call it a book? Is it a novella? Because it's a very short book. It's a 200-page book. And I feel the urge to tell you this so you understand that I mostly read it because of how short it was and not because I was like genuinely interested in it. Let me get ready to talk about this book. The book I'm talking about is Little Stranger by Lee Rivers. And the reason this book even caught my eye in the first place was because there was this sound going around on TikTok. The voice actor. Amazing. I have not listened to the audiobook. I've only listened to what TikTok has shown me. The voice actor is insane. Let's ignore the book, the story for a second. Now, technically, what pulled me into reading this book was the voice actor. He was doing such an amazing job. I think he was singing the little itsy bitsy spider or whatever, and then he was crying and he was like, please don't leave me. And I was like, oh, what is this? Like, this sounds, ooh, I don't know. I was like, you know what, let me read it. And then I saw it was dark romance and I was like, oh, am I gonna hate this? Am I gonna like it? What was even this book about? I don't even write. So they were like step siblings, right? Whatever. We've seen so many of these, right? This is nothing new. Again, with the taboo. We've seen Culpa Mia. We've seen the Tearsmith or whatever. Oh my god, they're step siblings? Crazy, I know. Whatever, okay? The point is, he murders their father, right? Or like stepfather, I guess. I don't even want to... Can I even say this on YouTube? They do it in front of his bleeding corpse. Like, he's bleeding out on the floor. I don't even know what to say about this book. I don't even know what to say about this book. It's insane. This is insane stuff. Like, this book is not for the weak. Let me tell you that much. Some people may disagree. Some people may be like, oh, this is nothing. This is child's play. What? It's insane. I cannot even begin to fathom that I've read a book like this. What was the plot in this? There was no plot. No interesting plot. The only plot was how insane he was and how utterly horrible as a person she was. Because she put all the blame on him. You know, she was, oh my god, you can be the victim, but you can still at the same time be a horrible person. Like, one does not cancel, you know, the other out. She was a victim, obviously, because I think there was also like a lot of like non-consensual stuff in this one. But the FMC was so, oh my god, she was like bad. The next two books that I'm going to talk about are actually very recent ones. So recent that the one I'm about to mention I finished, what, 2 days ago? And I'm talking about Alpha Inmate by Liliana Carlisle. Now, I'm ready to admit that this was mostly my fault, because the title literally tells you what you're in for, but for some reason, I don't know why, okay? I woke up that day and I was preoccupied. It was gonna be a very busy day and I just wanted something quick, easy to read. And so I went for this book, but I completely and consciously omitted the alpha word in the title. So when I started reading this book, they started talking about like betas and omegas and alphas. I was like, what the hell? This is not what I'm usually into, but I'm still gonna give it a try, right? Open mind, let's keep an open mind. And I did think it was very interesting the fact that she was doing her research and she was gonna be interviewing somebody who was in prison, who's supposed to be very dangerous. Somehow they fall in love even though he's behind bars. And I was like, oh my god, wait a second. Biggest disappointment of my life. Don't even get me started on the writing. The writing. Oh god, the writing. Oh. This is why I don't usually read like alpha, omegas, and beta stuff. It's because they're not usually slow burns. They're pretty much insta-love because for some reason they fall for each other for just the smell. They smell each other. He's like, I like the smell of her. And then he's suddenly obsessed with her. I will never understand that. It irks me. It makes me so mad. I was like, give me a story. Give me something gradual. No, this entire book was him smelling her and then just deciding that she was his. No, it didn't make sense. He did what he wanted in very unrealistic ways. Somehow, he's the most dangerous alpha in this entire facility. And somehow, just because he's this like tech genius, he can control everything from within the prison even though he's like controlled 24/7. Please, somebody explain that to me. I didn't, somehow from inside the prison, he manages to hijack her car, right? He ruins the battery, somehow. I don't know how, right? I don't know how. He hacks into her phone to see all of her calls and text messages. He can even control her text messages from you know, I don't know, is it like a Bluetooth thing, like a satellite thing? I don't know. You want to know how I don't know? It's because they don't explain it. They just, you know, they were like, why would you want to know? All you need to know is that he's a tech genius and that he's very dangerous, and that's enough. That's enough for him to do whatever he wants to do. Books are very expensive and sometimes very time consuming for you to waste your money and time on a book like this. I need to calm down for a second. The next book I'll be talking about is See You Soon by Lexi Axelson. And the reason I even decided to read this book, because this is not like a popular book. The only reason I came across it was because I've been getting into Call of Duty a lot, right? So I'm getting a lot of videos on my For You page with the hashtag military, hashtag Simon Ghost Riley, and I'm kind of obsessed with Simon Ghost Riley, not kinda, very much so. So you mix the hashtag book talk with hashtag Simon Ghost Riley, and I got a video that claimed if you like Simon Ghost Riley and if you want to find an MMC who just gives off ghost vibes, this is the book for you. And I was like, ah. So I read it. And spoiler, there was nothing Simon Ghost Riley coded about the MMC. I'm gonna need authors to stop writing assholes in the name of the MMC being cold or distant. There was nothing memorable about this book. The MMC is one of the most unlikable characters I've ever read about in my entire life. The FMC, she was so bland. She kept going after him even though he very clearly gave her signs of not being ready for commitment. She was like, I shouldn't be doing this, not with him, because he's shown me more than 10 times that he's not ready to be in a relationship. Then where are your clothes? Why are you in his bedroom? Get up! This book and this MMC, it is an insult to Simon Ghost Riley, okay? Keep my man Ghost out of this, okay? I feel like the reason I'm so mad at this is because I was so excited, and then he does just one like good thing that it's not even good. It's like the bare minimum, and I'm supposed to love him because he came for the damsel in distress. Do not lower your standards, ladies, okay? This is not what fictional men are about. You do not need to remind me that fictional men are meant to. The moment I remember that a fictional man is indeed a man, that's where you know that you have not done a very good job. Fictional men are supposed to make me forget the fact that I hate men for, you know, the time that I'm reading the book. At least. And then if I keep thinking about him, I'm like, oh my god, I love him. That's when you know that you've done an amazing job. This was not it. I do have a lot more, but I feel like I'm gonna leave it here. Also because I'm very tired of speaking and I do not feel like editing a lot of footage, but I do have a lot more books that I would advise you to stay away from. Let me know if you want a part 2 of a video like this. Like and hit that subscribe button. I see you. I always welcome your comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next week.